Lakers, glad to have you with us. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It's the Los Angeles Lakers going up against the Charlotte Bobcats. And that's it for now. Let's send you out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew. Enjoy the first half. We'll see you soon.
And we see the Bobcats getting ready to go. Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr with Doris Burke on our sideline. Now a chance to check out our starting lineups. First for the Lakers, Damian Lillard out there at DeRozan. And at the center position, an impressive combination of size and skill, the 7'1" Spaniard, Marc Gasol. Then there's Kawhi Leonard, and it's Love in at the 4 slot. And for Charlotte, Boston out there with Williams. And at the center position, the 7-foot big man from Kingston, Jamaica, Jerome Jordan. Rookie season underway for him. Start. Then there's Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, and it's May in at the 4.
And, you know, for the Lakers last season, a lot of turmoil. And you think about the coaching change, but it wasn't just that. It was a whole system change as well. And the front office felt the Princeton offense they started using wasn't working out. So they were in a state of flux all season long.
So off the tip, it's Charlotte. Lawson's against Lillard. And Kidd-Gilchrist kicks to Lawson. From 10 feet out, gets it to go. Lawson's got the first points of the night for the Bobcats. And going back to the Princeton offense that Clark mentioned, Steve, tell us about that offense and why do you think it didn't work out?
Well, they only gave it 5 games, Kevin. I mean, Mike Brown was 1-4 when he got fired, and that's impossible to install an offense and expect it to work that quickly. So, I mean, I think the offense would have been fine if they had given it time and given Mike Brown some time to install it.
On defense, Charlotte. Here is Lillard. There's the pass to Gasol. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
For the majority of his career, Marc Gasol has been referred to as the other Gasol. But last season, you can make that case that he surpassed his brother Powell in terms of impact on the court.
And Marc Gasol, a little bigger than his older brother Powell, very comfortable at the center position, whereas Powell is a little more of a tweener. They're both obviously so incredibly skilled.
They sure are. I mean, both Gasol's able to play in the high post as passers or jump shooters or down on the low block, and where they can use their array of offensive skills. Pretty impressive to see 2 players like that coming out of the same family.
Both good from the line that time.
Well, you know, this last offseason, the Bobcats announced their intention to change the team name to the Hornets, reclaiming the name of the original Charlotte franchise that left for New Orleans in 2002.
Now, here is Lawson. Williams inside the line. It's rebounded by Gasol.
Well, I tell you what, that's too good a look to pass up there. Even though it didn't go, that's one you got to take.
Leonard attacking. And that'll be the Lakers as it goes out of bounds. Lakers retain possession. And just like New Orleans chose a name, the Pelicans, that has local significance, the Hornets, a historical reference to Charlotte's rebellious fighting spirit during the American Revolution, Steve. And you were just telling me about this. Fascinates you.
It does. I'm an American history buff, Kevin, and I'm also an NBA history buff. And you think back to the Hornets in Charlotte originally, they sold out for 9 straight seasons. So the Hornets nickname absolutely belongs in Charlotte. Yeah, something that makes him hard to defend is his ability to receive a pass and get off an accurate shot in one quick, fluid motion. So you better beware of where he is on the floor at all times.
One of the premier catch-and-shoot guys in the league, Steve. There's no question about it.
That's good from Williams.
Well, for the Bobcats, some tough luck in the lottery the last few seasons. They had the worst record in 12, but they missed out on Anthony Davis, the second worst record last season, but they fell to the 4 pick. They need so much help, but the lottery fortune hasn't gone their way.
And both free throws good for Williams. And Clark, you mentioned the struggles last year for the Bobcats. Last season, the worst defense, second worst in rebounding, and Steve, the third worst in offense.
They just didn't have enough talent. It's been a long struggle for this team the last few years, and the roster is starting to grow. It's starting to build, but there's still a lot of work to be done in Charlotte.
And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot two.
You know, there are a number of things that went wrong for the Lakers, and a lot of it led to them being a poor team on the road. They just didn't look like they were on the same page whenever they played away from Staples.
And he makes the first. Back to the Lakers in their play on the road. It wasn't for their lack of scoring. They would put up just about as many on the road as they would at home. Steve, it's just that they wouldn't get the stops. The defense wasn't what they needed for road wins.
Well, if you're going to win on the road, Kevin, you have to get stops. And the Lakers didn't do that. And, you know, you think about this year without Dwight Howard now, that defense is only going to get worse. So I would look for the road to be a major issue this year for the Lakers.
And so Gasol nails them both.
You know, last season, a lot of folks had the Lakers picked as the super team in the West, the team that would maybe challenge Miami and LeBron, but from the start, it just never was a cohesive group and really had one of the most disappointing seasons in the Lakers' history.
Now here's Leonard. Right side, Leonard. Gasol kicks to DeRozan. Dishes to Lillard. Lakers working the ball around now. That gives them the lead. Leonard's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for three. Clark, as you said, the Lakers had a lot of lofty expectations put on them, but you never know what's going to happen when a team is put together. And Steve, they just couldn't reach that bar that was set so high for them.
The expectations were so high, Kevin, but injury issues cost them all season long. Nash, Howard, Powell, and of course Kobe with the Achilles at the end of the year. And that unit only started 7 games all season together, so they never really were able to develop any chemistry.
1 quarter in the books, and it's been a close one so far. Lakers lead by 3. 2K Sports back in a moment here at the Time Warner Cable Arena in Charlotte. Up to this point, a closely contested game as we start the second quarter. And what stands out to you from the Lakers in this one?
Yeah, the defense has been terrific. They came out right from the beginning, alert and focused, and they've been really good at that end of the floor.
And I think Coach has to be pleased with the effort, Steve.
So it's the Lakers now. It's a 3-point game. And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Hey, gentlemen. Well, part of the Lakers' struggles last year was that they were constructed like an all-star team. Coach Mike D'Antoni said, quote, "Have you ever watched an all-star game? It's god-awful because everybody gets the ball, they go one-on-one, and then they play no defense. That's our team. That's us." Having a pecking order with all their big players was something he wanted to instill on their Lakers roster. We'll see if they can do a better job of adhering to that this time around, guys.
Well, that's the rub, isn't it? That's the balancing act, isn't it, Doris? Share the ball, but get it into the hands of your scorers. The open shot, Williams makes no mistake on the open jump shot. Lakers leading by 4.
You know, when you lack impact players, playing against the Western Conference is going to be brutal. It's going to be difficult. And the Bobcats felt the wrath of the West because they weren't quite able to match up.
The shot's good from Love.
Well, what I love about Kevin Love, no pun intended, is the fact that he's so strong and still so skilled at the same time. He's done a lot of conditioning over the years to slim down his body, worked so hard on that three-point shot, and now he can score inside and out. He's one of the best rebounders in the game. The guy's incredible.
Yeah, he really is. Not to mention push defenders aside to squeeze those offensive rebounds. No question, if your front line is soft, Kevin Love will expose you.
The Lakers making a switch here. .133 left to play here in the second quarter. Mark, as you said with the Bobcats, just absolutely abysmal against the West. 30 games against the conference, and they only managed 3, yes, as in 1, 2, 3 wins the entire year, Steve.
And 2 of those wins came against the Timberwolves. So how about that? One win against the rest of the Western Conference. That's a shocking number, but it just shows you how much work the Bobcats have ahead of them, before they're able to really put together a good team.
There's 57 seconds left now here in the second. He dishes it to Lawson. Shot clock at 6. It's off his leg. And the official saying it was kicked. And the Lakers making a change here. .46 seconds left in the first half. Left side Lawson. 6 to shoot. Shot's good by Mullins.
After digging themselves that hole in the first quarter, this club is starting to shoot the ball much better now.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a little while to work out the knots. I mean, they're starting to put it together.
Outside Leonard. There's the 3. Bobcats with the rebound. The dish to Kid Gilchrist. Pass to Mullins. Lawson. All sorts of time. That one off the back iron and out.
Nobody anywhere close to him. Where's the defense? He's got to make that shot, though.
That'll do it for the first half. Lakers on top. They're up by 6. Folks, stay tuned for the halftime show with Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
This is 2K Sports, and I'm Damon Bruce, coming to you live on a Friday night. The Los Angeles Lakers in front against Charlotte. They've done a great job closing out their defensive possessions, grabbing boards, great rebounding. A productive first half for DeMar DeRozan. He's chipped in 4 points and also has been a factor with his rebounding. Hanging tough, the Charlotte Bobcats. They'd like to forget that first half. Coach has not been happy with what he's seen out there, and they'll likely come out with major adjustments. A difficult first half for Ty Lawson. It hasn't been pretty. He's only got 1 make from the field. Now let's head back out to the start of the second half. Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke, take it away.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
We have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second half of basketball.
Well, for the Lakers last season, it seemed there was so much turmoil throughout the year. Injuries, coaching-wise, changes in the offense. They never were able to really gain any momentum. They made a decent run at the end of the season, but that didn't carry over into the postseason when they were swept by the Lakers in the first round.
And the Lakers have possession. They lead by 6, their biggest margin. And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Gentlemen, thank you. This summer, the Charlotte Bobcats signed former 4-time All-Star Mark Price as an assistant coach with a focus on improving the team's shooting. Michael Kidd Gilchrist had actually made the suggestion for the team to hire a shooting coach. Guys, when they drafted MKG, they talked about a building block, someone who'd help create a culture of work. A great example there. He's focused on his weakness and being proactive to address it.
You said it, Doris. Thanks. I think going back to D'Antoni and the Lakers, that Howard and Gasol were made more than a little disgruntled with how Clark he made use or didn't make use of them offensively.
You know, the Lakers brought in D'Antoni to try to emphasize Steve Nash and his role in the offense, but I think they neglected how that would affect the seven-footers. Didn't do a really good job of incorporating those guys, and when you've got Kobe getting his shots, that's a tough dynamic to work with.
Williams passes to Jordan. Kidd Gilchrist. Lock at 6. And that one's good. Kidd Gilchrist has got his first basket.
That's the kind of aggressive and assertive play they need as we get closer and closer to crunch time.
No question. Pound it into the painted area and continue to put pressure on that defense.
Timeout called the Lakers.
You know, it was another dreadful year for the Bobcats. After a promising start, they just weren't able to maintain it. They ended up as one of the worst teams in the league, and they didn't play well at home or on the road.
And the Lakers with possession here. The lead is 2. And you can see your wins stay static and your losses grow exponentially when you can't defend your home court. Steve, third worst home court record in the league for the Bobcats last year, playing in the Queen City.
Yeah, 15 wins for them here in their home building last season. I mean, that's just not going to cut it. They just had a difficult time scoring points. Just not enough talent on the roster. Pretty bad defense, letting the offense get right to the rim, but smart play to foul once he was there.
But you know what's going to happen, and they sent a message right there. Nothing easy inside.
The Bobcats have gone 2 for 2 in the game at the line.
Well, they were 75% free throw shooting a season ago.
And the first one drops. And the Lakers making a change here. Rivers checked in. Second free throw, no good.
Well, for Kevin Love, guys, last season, in my mind, the most trying of his career. I mean, he broke his hand going into the season, came back, and then broke it again. He ended up playing only 18 games for the season and never really found the rhythm at all.
And Lillard kicks to Leonard. Pocket 4. Back to Lillard. Lets the 3 fly. They get it back. Rivers. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
You know, even from here, you could see that one pretty clearly.
Yep, pretty obvious. And a good call by the officials.
And Kevin Love, known for his great dedication to training in the offseason. He actually broke his hand doing knuckle push-ups. I remember reading the story so clearly with that training staff.
Yeah, he was doing it with the staff at the time. And maybe they take those out of the regimen. I mean, come on.
That's right. Looking at who's out there now for the Lakers. Marc Gasol has checked in for Love. And it's Edwards in for DeMar DeRozan. And the second free throw, good. 56 seconds left in the third quarter. Pass to May. Lost it outside. Charlotte moving the ball around. And it's Kidd Gilchrist penetrating. Offensive rebound. And he hits it to tie the game up.
They have finally fought all the way back to even the score. They're back to square one. Whole new ball game.
And with a comeback like that, they've definitely got the upper hand going forward.
And Lillard kicks to Edwards with the shot. And it's wide right. It's off the rim.
Well, there was no hand in his face right there. I thought for sure he was going to knock that down.
1 second separating the shot clock and game clock. The shot's good from May. Now Lillard. He hasn't scored yet. That I'm sure will change. Outside Leonard. Back to Lillard. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him. It's still anybody's game as we've reached the end of 3. Bobcats lead by 2. 2K Sports back in a moment here at the Time Warner Cable Arena in Charlotte. All right, we welcome you back to what's been a hard-fought battle. Fourth quarter should be good. So it's the Bobcats now. A 2-point game. Lillard against Sessions. Outside Williams. Fires for 3. Good on the shot. Williams has got the first field goal of the fourth quarter here for the Bobcats.
Boy, what a half from the field they're having. They're going to extend that lead if they stay this high.
Now they've taken it up another notch, Clark, looking very confident out there.
Love outside. Puts it up from 17. Lillard. Leonard. And, there's a whistle. He was going up for a layup, and while it looked like there was some contact, I wasn't sure they were going to call a foul shot or not, but sure enough they have. So we've got a couple of free throws coming up. The first one falls. Ty Lawson, he's checked in for Sessions. Leonard hits them both.
He's got ice water in his veins, fellas. No way he's going to miss from the line when the game's still hanging in the balance. I've seen him make too many in this situation.
Lawson against Lillard. Lawson outside. Shoots from the elbow. Again, the Bobcats score.
This has been a different kind of game here in the second half. I thought both clubs a little slow in the first.
No question, but they're really going at it now.
Lillard gets the screen from Love. And DeRozan kicks to Lillard. Back to DeRozan. All alone. It's rebounded by May.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely miss those.
And it's Kid Gilchrist penetrating. Jordan with the bucket.
Another bucket in the paint. That's something they just have not been able to stop today.
I think it's time to make some adjustments defensively, Clark. I mean, what they've got going right now is not getting it done.
Timeout called the Lakers. They're losing by 7. 1:35 left in the fourth quarter of this one. And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Thank you, Kevin. I was able to listen in on what Mike D'Antoni had to say to his team. He told them, guys, we're getting bogged down in the half court. Let's get out and run, see what's available in early offense. If there's nothing there, we can always back it out and run our sets. Good advice, Kevin.
Always great to hear from you, Doris. .135 left to play here in the fourth. Love kicks to Lillard. He feeds it to DeRozan. Excellent D there from Williams.
This has not at all been the kind of performance they've needed out of him.
Lawson kicks to Williams. Back to Lawson. He passes it to Jordan. Nice pass in here by Charlotte. Here's Lawson. 5 on the clock. Williams' shot is off.
That's one he knows he should have made. Time is definitely not on their side at this point.
Yeah, they need a quick bucket.
Love can't hit.
Kind of rare to see him come up empty on a wide open look.
Guys, you've got to think a basket here would seal it.
No question about it. That would be all she wrote.
There's 38 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Williams kicks to Lawson. And they turn over the 24-second buzzer, signaling the shot clock violation. And over 2.5 minutes in the books here in the fourth. And Lillard kicks to DeRozan. Plenty of space. It falls! Oh, and that cuts the lead to just 5. Got a piece of it. It's stolen by DeRozan. And the basket by Lillard. And a big play there to mute the crowd.
Yeah, that one kind of took all of the life out of them there, Kevin.
Kind of quieted the voices in here, didn't it?
And they commit an intentional foul. We'll see another one of those so they can get into the penalty.
Yeah, no question the right call at this point. You can't let them just dribble it out.
That's right. I mean, you got to send them to the line and hope for a few misses.
And here comes Kid Gilchrist. And they go to the intentional foul.
Going to the line. Ty Lawson.
Come on, you can hit this.
And he cannot get the first one to drop. Tough one to miss. And he ends up making the second, and that gives them a 4-point cushion. And the Lakers call time here. They trail by 4. We've got 13 seconds left in the fourth. Guys, your thoughts?
Well, the way to go here, you got to get a quick basket and then a foul. That's the only course of action at this point.
And it's key who they foul. Don't send an excellent free throw shooter to the line here.
You've got 13 seconds left in the game. Here's Leonard. Off the mark there with the three-point shot. And now they foul and stop the clock.
Going to the line.
Easy play, come on.
Good on the first, and that puts them up by 5. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 6-point ball game.
And that's exactly how you close the game out. Those free throws will bury them for sure.
Back to Lillard from deep. Misses there. So it's Charlotte picking up the win. They pulled off this win, Clark, with respectable performances on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I think it was just really a nice overall effort, Kevin.
And now for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for joining us tonight in our presentation of NBA and 2K Sports. Now our Jordan player of the game.
here for the NBA on 2K Sports. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It's going to be the Houston Rockets up against the Indiana Pacers. And now it's off to Indianapolis we go for the call by Kevin Harlan alongside analysts Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg.
Just earlier, the fans on their feet as the national anthem rang out throughout the arena. And welcome everyone to another presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. Along with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. First, for the Rockets, Beverly and Harden man the backcourt. And inside at center from Turkey, one of the best defending big men in the game, 7-footer Omer Asik. And there's Green, and it's Robinson in at the four-man position. And for Indiana, Conley out there with Orlando Johnson. And starting 7'2", one of the true giants in the game, another great big man out of Georgetown, Roy Hibbert. Then it's Paul George, and it's Davis in at the four slot.
Well, guys, for the Pacers, it's been a slow and long climb from the Malice at the Palace back in 04. But now, with a terrific young team, fresh off a strong showing in the Eastern Conference Finals, we can finally say the Pacers are back, and they're going to be around for a while contending for championships.
Tip-off goes to Houston. Here's Beverly. The feed to Harden. From deep. Pacers with the rebound. And for the Pacers, ever since that unfortunate night in Detroit, the attendance in Indiana has sagged. They've been at the bottom half percentage-wise, Steve, for the last 9 years.
Well, it's time for the fans to come back, Kevin. This is an elite team. They've got really high character, good guys. Ticket prices are about 60% less than the league norm. One of the best arenas in the NBA, and it's Indiana. I mean, this is a basketball state.
On defense, the Pacers. Now let's send it over to Doris Burke, who was able to talk with Kevin McHale.
Yes, Kevin, he told me he's anxious to see how they do against a very connected and intelligent defensive team, saying, quote, "We can't be careless with the ball, and we can't just put our heads down. We have to play hard, but we also have to play smart. That's how we'll be successful." Kevin, can they find the right balance?
Hey, Doris, thanks. Steve, Clark, how do you best throw a defense like this off balance to enable your scorers to get comfortable?
I think the key is you need motion. You can't get too stagnant offensively where you're going one-on-one. Activate the offense with ball and player movement.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And then the other part of that, too, to me, Steve, is you got to be ready to take good shots whenever they come available.
Conley off the pick from Hibbert. They swipe it. Here's Beverly. Drops in the breakaway layup.
He didn't need to make the layup complicated. I mean, it's not a trick shot contest, but he decided to go for a little extra flavor on that one. Well, the Houston fans could be forgiven for not having heard of Omer Asik when the Rockets signed him as their starting center a season ago. He was a second-round pick out of Turkey in 08, a backup in Chicago, but he's quickly shown himself to be a key piece of this promising young core.
And that one's good. Beverly.
They are really doing a nice job establishing a presence inside early.
And that's going to open things up for them on the perimeter going forward, Clark.
Now here's Conley. If you're just tuning in, we played about 2.5 minutes here in the first. George passes to Conley. He dishes it to Johnson. Just 4 to shoot. And that one falls coming off Conley's feet. Johnson's got his first 3 points of the game. And you have to give the Rockets credit for going after Asik, a player who never averaged more than 15 minutes a game with Chicago. a restricted free agent with the Bulls and became a very important part for the Rockets.
Well, they clearly saw something special with Ashik. He's a great rebounder and defender, uses his body, understands angles, and plays that verticality really well as a defensive center.
Back to George. Left side, George, and out of bounds as the Rockets gain possession.
Boy, that's embarrassing, guys. He's going to have a hard time living that one down later when they watch it on tape.
Here's Franklin. No luck. 1 quarter in the books, and it's been a close one so far. Rockets lead by 3. And we'll get the second quarter underway on the other side of this break. And off we go, a close game now starting the second quarter.
You know, if you're in a fight to get into the playoffs out west like the Rockets were last season, you have to make sure you get every win you can when you play against the Eastern Conference. Their success against the Eastern Conference was a big part of how they squeezed that 8th seed.
Pacers trail by 3. Well, Clark, you were talking about the Rockets against the East, a record of 21-9 against the conference. And Steve, it was one of the better marks in the West.
Yeah, it was the same win total as the Clippers and Thunder, who both won their divisions. So, you know, only the Spurs and Grizzlies did better in that regard. And the Rockets were full of scoring potential, and I think just happened to catch teams in the East off guard a little bit.
And so it's Houston with it. Paul George missing from long range. Chambers kicks to Butler. Launches a 3. It's rebounded by Stevenson. Outside Hill. A 3 ball. Here's Hansbrough. No good. Great D that time from Chambers. Rockets leading by 3. Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Guys, Roy Hibbert, a big key for the Pacers defense. Coach Vogel said, quote, he's the best in the league at earning no calls at the rim. That's where he's grown the most over the last 4 years. Put the back of your hands on the front of the rim. If you're in the charge circle and not on the ground, you can earn a no call. Kevin, it's all about staying vertical. You don't always have to block a shot to make guys miss.
Credit him for continuing to work. Thanks, Doris. Franklin passes to Chambers. Here's Franklin. Shoots it. Another miss by Houston.
That's a shot he's got to hit. You don't get too many better looks from that range. Well, if the Pacers wanted to grab the attention of the league with their postseason play, they certainly did that. They marched through the first 2 rounds by knocking off the Hawks and the Knicks. And, boy, remember, they were a game away from the NBA Finals.
Rockets have gone 0-3 and are still looking for that first bucket here in the second quarter. And the call will be against George Hill. That is his first foul of the game.
Yeah, he had not established position.
You know, I prefer the refs to whistle with a block when in doubt. I thought that was a good call there.
Omer Ashik, he's checked in for the Rockets. Neely comes in for Franklin. .107 left in the first half. Ashik, the pass to Chambers. Outside Butler. The Rockets with another miss. Ultimately, the Pacers would fall to the Heat, but they put them to the test. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They gained respect league-wide even more than they had going into the playoffs. It took 7 games, Clark, and you saw them all, which a lot of folks didn't see coming.
I know that's the case, and yet the way the Pacers showed such grit in that series, it indicates they can compete with anybody. And when you have a defensive anchor like they do in Roy Hibbert, they've got a chance to be a championship team before long.
Now 8 seconds separating the 2 clocks. Neely, the pass to Chambers. Here's Neely. He's guarded by Hill. 6 to shoot. Houston needs to get a shot off. From outside the arc, shot's good. Chambers got the opening field goal of the second quarter for the Rockets.
Well, finally, it's nice to see the ball actually go through the hoop.
Yeah, that always makes a game look better. I mean, it's been ugly so far here, but hopefully shot making will improve the looks of this one.
And so we conclude the first half. The Rockets on top, up by 6. And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
This is 2K Sports, and I'm Damon Bruce, coming to you live on a Friday night. The Rockets looking good at the midway point. Points in the paint, definitely in their favor. They've stayed in attack mode down low. They've gotten some great minutes out of Jeff Green. In a game that hasn't been the highest scoring, he's provided the needed help to keep them on top heading into the third. On the Pacers side of things, they managed to hang around. Their struggling offense rearing its head once again. They need a consistent scorer to lead the way. George Hill has not had a good showing. An abysmal field goal percentage. The shot not cooperating. That's it for us here in the studio. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Welcome back, everyone. We're ready to get going again as this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports continues. Players are topped off, hydrated, and ready to get going again as well. Pacers trail by 6.
Houston found their way back into the playoffs last season, but really it wasn't because they were a tough team on the road. They only had 16 wins away from Houston last season.
Now here's Conley. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. From deep, George. And that one's good. George has got the first basket of the third quarter for the Pacers.
Well, you can't leave him alone, especially from long range.
And Clark, as you were talking about, the Rockets weren't nearly as troublesome to teams last year when they found themselves in the away locker room. Mostly, Steve, it came down to their offense not having quite as much punch.
Well, most teams don't score as much on the road as they do at home, but for the Rockets, 5 points differential between home and away, it's pretty dramatic. And I think that was one of the reasons why we saw them struggle when they left Houston and tried to get a win.
That's good. Johnson's got 5 now. Rockets leading by 4. There's the pick. Back to Robinson. Kicks it to Green. Robinson sets a screen for Green. Offensive rebound. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Well, Robinson is just a physical specimen. I mean, look at those shoulders. The big thing with him is when he plays hard, when he's attacking the rim as an offensive rebounder and chasing down loose balls, he can have a major impact on the game.
Yeah, no question about it, Steve. And he'll bang with just about anybody, too. I mean, he's got a good nose for the ball. He rebounds well on both backboards. And I think he's improved as a shooter, at least out to 16 feet. You know, when you get an influx of talent through the draft like the Rockets did prior to last season, the initial reaction is excitement. But then you think about, man, how are we going to get these guys ready to play NBA basketball? And the Rockets did a nice job by taking it easy and bringing them along slowly.
And for the Rockets, you look at how that strategy worked out for them, and it was exactly what they needed. Got off to a quick start last year, and, Steve, toward the end, their rookies were fresh and able to contribute when it mattered most.
Kevin, it's hard for fans to see a player get drafted and not immediately see the floor, but a lot of times that's the best route. You give a player time to adjust, you make him earn it, and by the end of the season, he can be a very effective player. I think plenty of the Rockets players proved that last season.
And the first one at the line is good.
One thing that always translates from team to team is defense. No matter who you play, if you can challenge shots and bother shooters and play together, you'll win. And that's why the Pacers had so much success against Western teams last year.
He's off on the second. And over the last decade or so, it's usually been the Western teams getting the better of the Eastern teams more often than not. But the Pacers are able to be the exception because of their defense, as you were talking about.
Yeah, if you can defend and rebound, you can beat anyone at any time on anybody's floor. And I think the Pacers were able to do that last year, 18-12 against the West. And that only trailed Miami as far as the Eastern Conference teams and their success against the West.
And no question, he got bumped on that shot. Definitely no room for discussion on that one.
The Pacers shooting their first free throws of the game.
Well, this is a club that shot 75% as a team from the free throw line last season.
And that one falls for Davis.
Well, Indiana's success last season was built around its defensive prowess, and they usually would set the tone at the start of the game. They were one of the best in the league at allowing the fewest first quarter points.
And both free throws good for Davis. Going back to the Pacers once more, you knew they wanted to emphasize defense each game. Instead, they would always come out and get right in the offensive player's face to start the game.
And they allowed the fewest first quarter points of any team in the league last year, Kevin. That's a great way to kind of set the tempo, set the tone in a ball game. And the Pacers were able to establish that defense right away.
Rockets leading by 3. Harden kicks to Ashik. Pass to Robinson. Puts it up from 12, and he connects with the jumper. Robinson's got his first basket of the night. So the Pacers call timeout, their first of the game. .56 seconds left in the third. Hibbert dishes to Conley. Back to Hibbert. Working on Ashik. And it's Hibbert missing.
Great job defending the hoop there.
So important to have good presence defensively inside.
Harden gets a screen from Ashik. It's Harden with the drive. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Well, you know, prior to last season, there were several teams that considered trading for James Harden. There was a question, though, over how much they were prepared to give up. In some questions, he could be the first option on the team. That question's been answered.
It's his first trip to the line.
And he was up over the 80% mark from the free throw line last year. I'm sure he was pretty happy with those numbers.
And he knocks down the first one. In the season before last, Harden won 6th Man of the Year. But, guys, do you think that because Harden came off the bench in Oklahoma City that some underestimated his talent?
Well, I don't think anybody underestimated his talent. I think it was pretty apparent what he could do. But, you know, scouts have watched him ever since his Arizona State days. You can see he had star potential, and now he's getting the opportunity in Houston to fulfill that. You look at Harden's career, he was a gifted scorer at Arizona State, but with a slow start in his rookie season, and playing with 2 of the best players in the league in Oklahoma City, people seem to forget that he's always been a player who can light it up.
We've got a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. He kicks to Beverly. Back to Harden. The 3. The offensive rebound. Ashik. Smooth as silk on the finger roll. Ashik's got his second basket of the night. The third quarter comes to a close. Rockets lead by 9. And time for the short break, and stay right where you are. The fourth quarter is coming up next. Well, welcome back as we get set to start the fourth. And let's quickly check out the scoring breakdown here for the Rockets.
Well, they're taking high percentage shots in the paint. I like the way their offense is clicking.
Something that also stands out tonight is the number of assists they have. I mean, that's a mark of a good club.
Rockets leading by 9. Here's Franklin. Pass to Harden. Three-pointer. Count that one. Harden's got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for the Rockets. Conley with it. Now guarded by Beverly. Hibbert, the pass to Conley. Outside, George. Back to Conley. It's stolen by Green. Oh, and a fast break for the Rockets. No good from Franklin.
Well, he won't miss many of those, especially with the defender not in the best of positions there.
Green with the block. Harden left side. He passes to Franklin. It's rebounded by Indiana. Davis has got his third rebound on the night. Conley into the lane. Back to Davis. And that one falls coming off Conley's feet. Now a timeout called by Houston. They're in front by 10. 1:57 left to play here in the fourth. Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Guys, over that last break, I listened to Kevin McHale address his team. He was absolutely adamant, saying, don't let them off the hook. Let's keep our foot on the pedal and keep doing the things that have gotten us here this far. We're almost home.
Thomas Robinson, he's checked in for Franklin. Just over a minute played here in the fourth. And Beverly kicks to Harden. Feeds it to Beverly. Back to Harden. But they get it back. Asik dishes to Robinson. That one goes. Count. And the Rockets lead by 12. Here is Conley. Conley left side. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Mike Conley, boy, second in the NBA last season in steals per game. Quick feet and quick hands, and a smart defender as well. Make him a pesky guy to deal with at that end of the floor.
And the first one jumps. And for Conley offensively, he doesn't try, Steve, I think, to do too much.
No, in some ways he reminds you of like a possession quarterback.
Ah, nice comparison.
He's going to be steady, do the little things, and let the game come to him, but very capable of making a big play when necessary.
And Conley drops them both. Just about 1.5 minutes gone by here in the fourth. Rockets leading by 10. Now, here is Harden. Green with a screen on Johnson. It's Harden with the drive. Goes back up. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a three-point play.
It's a +5 advantage for them in the rebounding category after that board.
Very steady work they've been doing on the interior, no question. And that's, I think, the main reason they have this lead.
The free throw off from Usher.
Well, it certainly had the makings of a great story. Harden versus his old team, the Rockets coming back with a big Game 5 win. If they could get Game 6, they'd be able to force that final 7th game and maybe pull off the upset, but it wasn't meant to be.
Well, going back to the Rockets in the postseason, a lot of people had them picked to get steamrolled. But, Steve, they put up a solid fight and really turned some heads with how they played.
Well, the easy answer was because of the Westbrook injury. That's how Houston was able to really take Oklahoma City deep into that series. But I think there's more to it than that. The Rockets have tremendous offensive firepower. I think they're gaining momentum as a franchise. And heading into this year, I think they're one of the scariest teams in the conference.
And so he makes both from the line.
Getting to the stripe is something they've been doing a lot of in the second half, guys.
And when you're behind, I think that's a great strategy. Not only do you get easy points, but the clock stops as well.
Now, here is Harden. Green with a screen for Harden. 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Ashik. Good. And the Rockets lead by 12.
Boy, they're extending their lead. It kind of feels like they're just piling on here as we come to an end.
Well, hey, let's just call it what it is. They are trying to run it up on him. You know, 9 times out of 10, he's going to knock that one down. He'll spray that one on you.
No good from Beverly.
He's one guy the defense is not afraid to leave open from that range, and for obvious reasons.
Harden grabs the miss. The Rockets have gotten just under 45% of their attempts to drop in the fourth. 4 of 9. So we see the Rockets taking the win here. And this one was such a lopsided victory.
They never let up. They were full throttle from the start.
Well, it's time to say so long. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan along with our 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Omer Ashik.
Basketball. I'm Damon Bruce, and we've got it for you here on 2K Sports. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It's the Boston Celtics going up against the Los Angeles Clippers. And that's it for us in the studio. To call all the action, let's go out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew. I'll see you again at halftime.
It's the NBA on 2K Sports. Hello, everyone. Great to have you with us. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. A quick check now for starting lineups for both teams. First for the Celtics, speedy backcourt of Rondo and Bradley. Ikan Okoye. Then there's Chandler Parsons. And it's Sellinger, and it's a 4. And for the Clippers, Collison is out there with Anderson. And inside at center, a long 6'11", the sky-scraping big man out of Texas A&M, DeAndre Jordan. And it's Griffin, and it's the 4 spot.
Well, I tell you what, the Clippers playing in the Western Conference knew they'd have to take care of business facing Eastern Conference opponents, and they did. 21-9 against the East, and a bunch of highlight reel plays along the way.
So the Clippers win the tip. Collison against Rondo. Collison kicks to Powell. The dish to Jordan. Sellinger's there. And is out of bounds to the Clippers as the Clippers retain possession. And for the Clippers against the East, they had a winning record against every division out there. That's exactly what any coach, Steve, would hope for at the start of the season.
And you'll remember the Clippers went on that big streak in December, and I think the early part of the season they won 17 games in a row. A lot of those games out on the road back east. So I thought that established the tone for the Clippers for last year. I'll tell you what I love about him, his ability to finish even while absorbing contact. He is so strong, even with defenders hanging all over him. He continues to finish at the basket.
And he is also so good at getting his hands on the ball without fouling when an opposing player is on his way to the hoop. That's a real knack. Excellent hand-eye coordination makes that possible for him. You knew that at some point the window for the group of Celtics that had won a title was going to close. I mean, it was inevitable, but last year seemed like they were going to go for one last hurrah as they added some depth and looked to reload for another run.
Now here's Anderson after the miss from Parsons. And there's Darren Collison on the assist by Anderson. Collison's got his first basket of the night.
Well, no defense. He didn't really need to do the double pump.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
But Kevin, here's what the Celtics head coach had to say when we spoke just a few minutes ago. He knows that the challenge for his team in this game will be to slow down Blake Griffin, who he described as instant momentum. With Griffin being such a handful physically, they plan to limit his ability to get any space around the basket and hopefully cut down those powerful drives toward the rim.
All right, Doris. Here's Collison. After Jared Sellinger's bucket. Deep 2 from Anderson. It's rebounded by Okoye. And getting back to the Celtics and Rondo's injury, a lot of people expected them to start the rebuilding process. Ended up standing pat at the deadline, Steve. Even though there was, it seemed, a lot of interest.
You know, you want to give that group, KG and Pierce and Rondo, you want to give them another run. And they had their last hurrah. They didn't get it finished. And now you start the rebuilding project. So a lot of trades, a lot of movement over the summer. But I like the fact that they gave that club one more run.
Here is Collison after the made shot from Bradley. Collison kicks to Anderson. Guarded by Bradley. 6 on the shot clock. Pulls up on the wing. A nice shot by Anderson. Anderson's got his first 2 points.
You know, that part of the floor, guys, is more or less his real sweet spot, right in his wheelhouse.
And Sellinger kicks to Bradley. Pass to Okoye. He's against Jordan. The jump hook. No good off the back of the rim. Sellinger passes to Okoye. Shot's good.
How did he get that to go?
Even after the whistle, I like the awareness, the alertness, and the presence of mind to finish the play.
The Celtics shooting their first free throw of the game right now. Boston making some changes. Anderson Varejau's checked in for Jared Sellinger. Stuckey comes in for Avery Bradley. And Jordan Crawford is subbed in for Rajon Rondo. And that drops, so they now lead by 1. Just over 2.5 minutes played here so far in the first quarter. Evans outside. Shot clock at 6. Pass to Thompson. Rebound by the Celtics. Here's Crawford. And it would have counted had it fallen, but it's offline. And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. It's the Celtics up 1. We'll be back shortly live from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. So far, it's been a closely contested game as we get the second quarter up and going. And the Celtics guys, what jumps out to you, stats-wise?
And this team has done a nice job on the glass. I think that's how they've built this lead. They've been very physical, really established a presence in the paint.
Well, they've chased down those balls. As soon as they've hit the iron, they've been chasing them down. That's been a solid effort by them.
The Celtics with the lead. Verajao with a screen on Evans. Crawford drives in. Stuckey working against Anderson. Stuckey dishes to Crawford. Parsons for 3. They get it back. Nice ball movement by Boston. Olynyk sets a screen for Crawford. He kicks to Verajao. He feeds it to Parsons. Back to Verajao. Swiped away. And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Gentlemen, you hear murmurs that some in the NBA fraternity consider Blake Griffin a little too nice. Their feeling is that if you get physical with him, you can take him out of his game. It's surprising considering his size and strength. Blake said, "I've never really worried about being called soft. If anybody wants to step up and take that challenge, I'm more than happy off the court because I don't want to get suspended. And guys, he's too valuable to this team to miss games. But some feel he has to retaliate to let opponents know he means business."
That animosity can stick around, Doris. Tough thing. Thank you.
Yeah, they like to get him the ball down on the low post, Kevin, not just for his ability to score, but to also distribute to his teammates when the defense collapses.
And Steve, you look at him, he is a banger. I mean, he really enjoys the physical aspect of the game. You know, you go through the regular season, guys, and set all sorts of records for your franchise and wins and winning streaks and all that. You win your division for the first time ever, your first 50-win season, and what do you get for it? Bounced in the first round of the playoffs. It's still progress, though, and I think the Clippers will use that for motivation this season.
And so Verajao hits them both. Well, Clark, as you said, the Clippers got up 2-zip on the Grizzlies, but all of a sudden it came to a crashing halt. As Steve, they dropped 4 consecutive games, and just like that, we're out of the postseason.
Yeah, injuries played a part. Blake Griffin sprained his ankle, but I think the Clippers were exposed a little bit too. They're limited offensively on the front line. Maybe not quite enough shooting, but that's why they made the moves in the offseason. And they're looking to pick up and make some improvement in that regard.
Not much the defense can do once he gets to the bucket.
So the Celtics called timeout. They're first.
Well, you know, last season I think officially brought the immediate championship aspirations of the Celtics to a close. The 7th seed in the East, dispatched in the first round by the Knicks. The rebuild was on in full cycle.
And the Clippers making a change here. Just about a minute and a half has gone by here in the second. And back to the Celtics, making the playoffs, sure, but, you know, not like Steve back in 08 or 2010.
Well, this has been a phenomenal era, with KG and Pierce that is now a thing of the past. But look, they've hoisted a championship banner, very close to another, but it's just time to move on. And that's just the way it is in the NBA. These things go in waves, and the Celtics now in rebuilding mode.
And the Clippers have possession. After the made shot from Verajao, here's Braxton. Can't get it to go. Excellent D there from Olynyk. The Celtics have gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter. Olenek sets a screen for Crawford. Dishes it to Stuckey. There's 42 seconds left in the second quarter. Crawford kicks to Parsons. The tray. The shot no good.
He certainly didn't take advantage of the poor defense, but they can't count on him to continue missing.
No, that's for sure, because this guy's too good of a shooter to miss that look consistently. Wow, this has been a thriller. I mean, the way these teams are battling, just going back and forth.
Would you like to bet that this game may end on a buzzer beater? How much would you bet?
Now here's Crawford. He hasn't scored yet. That I'm sure will change. 6 to shoot. Jacks up a 3. And it's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation. They turn it over. Here in the second quarter, about 3 minutes played. From deep three-point range, he got it up that time, but it wouldn't fall for him. Second quarter ends in a tight one. Clippers lead by 1. Well, folks, stay tuned for the halftime show with Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half.
Now, presented by Sprint.
It's a lively Friday evening here at 2K Sports. Hopefully you're having a great time watching a little basketball tonight. A close game for the Clippers at Staples Center up against Boston. Just outstanding efficiency offensively. They're having a field day. It's just that simple. Darren Collison stood out early. They aren't exactly eye-catching numbers, but don't be fooled. These came to play, and he's leading them towards a victory in this one. Looking at Boston, they're definitely making plays as well. Wiping the glass defensively. Look, no streaks. They're preventing any second-chance opportunities. And we'll be heading back to the court for the rest of our coverage as we go to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke for the second half.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the third. Boston trailing.
Hey, I think we all knew that the Clippers were good last year, but we really took notice when they rattled off those 17 wins in a row in December. That was a franchise record, which had previously been 11, and that's when the league really took notice.
Now, here's Okoye. Just 5 on the clock. And so he earns a trip to the line. Official saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2. Well, it was the year of the win streak last season with Miami doing what they did and Denver getting hot as well. But you know, Steve, the Clippers had the first lengthy win streak and turned some heads earlier in the season.
Yeah, what was that, about 17 games in a row they won? And I thought that kind of established the Clippers in the West, put a little fear in the rest of the conference, and gave L.A. a swagger that I thought helped them get through the rest of the season.
Both free throws good from Okoye.
You know, it's always strange to see how a team will react when they lose one of their biggest stars. Last season, the Celtics were thought to be dead in the water when Rondo tore his ACL, but they actually rallied and went on the winning streak after the injury.
And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here at Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, gentlemen, it's not often you see a team trade for a coach, but the Clippers did just that to get Doc Rivers. The Clippers gave up a first-round pick to get him, but they believe he is their guy. He has a title on his coaching resume, and that played a big part in why the Clippers were willing to give up so much to just acquire Doc. Rivers felt it was time for a change and gladly took the chance to take over a team that could contend immediately. Gentlemen?
No question he can help. Thanks, Doris. Well, Clark, as you said, with Rondo and the Celtics, they would go on to win the next 7 right after his injury. And overall, Steve played better than expected the rest of the way.
Sometimes that's the way these things go, Kevin. A star player goes down, everybody else kind of steps up, and instead of feeling sorry for themselves, they use it as a rallying cry. And all those role players for Boston really picked up the extra slack, and I thought they made a great push to end that season after the Rondo injury.
The first free throw is good.
You know, for a long time, people would look at Staples as the Lakers' home, where the Clippers just happened to be sharing space. But the Clippers let everybody know that they called this Staples Center home as well last year. And I thought they were a force in front of their rabid fans.
Both free throws good from Anderson. Well, Clark, as you said, the Clippers really starting to make waves on the landscape here in L.A. as they surpassed the Lakers in wins last season. You know, a big part of that was, Steve, their ability to win here at home.
Yeah, 32 wins here at Staples, and when they got out and ran, this place was really rocking. And this Clipper team has a roster full of guys that can make a play that ignites a crowd, and some new additions this year, new coaching staff. A lot going on for this Clipper team.
And here in the second half of play, we're just over a minute in. Outside Rondo. Bradley up top. Back to Rondo. The feed to Okoye. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Not many teams, guys, in the East did very well against the West last season. And that in mind, you could call Boston's 14-16 record against the conference better than most.
And for the Celtics against the West, even in the shortened season, they were having a lot of trouble with some of the bigger lineups, Steve, more of the up-tempo teams out west.
Well, the Celtics were old and a little bit small, too. Kevin Garnett played center last year, so they played a lot of small lineups. And when you're small and you're old, sometimes, that's going to cost you, particularly on the road.
Some changes for Boston. Varejao comes in for Jared Sullinger. Rodney Stuckey subbed in for Avery Bradley. And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time. And the Clippers decide to take their first timeout here. .139 left in the third quarter. Now here's Collison. Collison off the pick from Griffin. Deep 2 from Anderson. That falls. Great assist by Darren Collison. Anderson's got 6.
Well, he's a spot-up shooter, one of the best. One of those guys who, if you give him an inch, that's all it takes. He will let it fly and frequently knock down that shot.
And another thing about his game that's really noticeable is how well he handles defensive pressure when he's getting his...
Watch out now. And Clark and Steve, as we approach the fourth quarter, still anyone's ball game.
Yeah, exactly right, Kevin. I mean, these teams just simply keep trading baskets, and as a result, trading the lead.
Yeah, neither side really able to create much of a cushion at all. So which team can make a little run here? We'll see.
Collison against Rondo. Collison kicks to Griffin. Varejao on him. Unloads from 13. The rebound by the Celtics. Okoye's got rebound number 5 here tonight. Feeds to Rondo. Just under 2.5 minutes into the third quarter now. Here's Parsons. Can't get it to go. Great D that time from Powell. The Clippers trail. Griffin is screen on Parsons. Collison, the pass to Anderson. Back to Collison. Griffin. Clock at 6. And the pass to Anderson. Nice jump shot. Good. Anderson's got 8 points. And here's Rondo. From downtown. And the shot is good. And the Celtics lead by 2. It's still anybody's game as we've reached the end of 3. It's the Celtics. They're up by 2. And coming up as soon as we return from break, the 4th quarter gets underway. And thanks for joining us again as the 4th quarter of play is set to get rolling. It's been a close battle to this point. And what do you guys think so far about the offensive approach for the Celtics?
Well, anytime they've needed easy points, they've gotten themselves to the foul line. That's been key.
They've also been pounding it inside tonight and coming away with a lot of points in the paint. I call those PIPs.
The Clippers shooting 53% from the floor. They're locked in. And here's Collison. Anderson outside. From deep. Offensive rebound. Griffith. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. That's on Rodney Stuckey.
Yeah, the defender draped all over him.
Pretty plain and simple. Got him good there.
Easy boys, come on!
And he makes the first. Chandler Parsons, he's checked in for Boston. So he hits 1 of 2 from the stripe.
This game has been very close in a lot of areas, but rebounding is one thing that they've been able to dominate.
Yeah, they've chased down that pumpkin often.
Now the Clippers moving it up. Collison with the ball.
Boy, this is shaping up to be a real barn burner.
Well, I think it already is. I mean, we're going to find out which team tightens up under the pressure and which one can stay poised.
Rondo dishes to Parsons. Bradley sets the pick for Parsons. Three-pointer. Second shot opportunity. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
And the defense looking to protect the rim at all costs.
Yeah, I like that. A foul to save the layup. Make him earn it at the line.
And the first one at the line is good. DeAndre Jordan's checked in for Blake Griffin. Both free throws good from Sullinger.
Now, you can't say enough about his composure in big moments. He's as cool as they come, guys.
Collison kicks to Powell. Passes it to Anderson. He dishes it to Powell. Shot clock at 6. Puts the lead pass in front of him. It's stolen by Rondo. Kicks it to Okoye. Outside Bradley. He passes it to Rondo. Step back shot. And that one goes home. Boston again missing.
He operates pretty well in traffic, guys, but that was a tough play to finish off.
Collison with it. He's picked up by Rondo. Collison, the pass to Anderson. Back to Collison. There's the dish to Anderson. With the shot. It's rebounded by Parsons.
You just assume he's going to knock those down when he's as open as he was there.
with it. Back to Parsons. Here's Bradley on the wing. And out of bounds as the Clippers gain possession.
Huge turnover there, and at a bad time, too. You have to value every possession.
Blake Griffin, he's checked in for the Clippers. Fourth quarter of play, and we're about 2.5 minutes through it right now. Rondo against Collison. Anderson right side. From downtown. Nails the triple.
That is a clutch shot if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, very gutsy there. What more can you say? He got it done at the best time.
16 seconds left in the fourth. It's in! He has tied up this game. Oh, what a shot. Los Angeles calls timeout. The score is tied at 24. There's 10 seconds left to play here in the fourth. There's 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Anderson right side. Oh, it's off the mark. And we're going to overtime. Regulation is ended and we're heading to overtime. We'll be back shortly live from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. Well, if you're just joining us, the intensity has really heated up in this one. As we watch this one go now to overtime. Collison with it. He's picked up by Rondo. Collison kicks to Powell. Back to Collison. 6 to shoot. The rebound by the Celtics. Zellinger's got his 4th rebound in this one. Stuckey into the lane. Outside Rondo. Pass to Okoye. The basket drops and he gets fouled on the shot. One free throw coming his way. And a big play there to mute the crowd.
Yeah, that one kind of took all of the life out of America. Kind of quieted the voices in here, didn't it?
Free throw good from Okoye.
Just what the doctor prescribed. The hoop and the harm, and he makes good on the free throw.
Collison against Rondo. Outside for Griffin. With the tip. It's good on the putback.
Smooth, guys. Very good job there of getting himself in close enough that he could just tip it back in.
And you know, those kind of plays in the offensive glass can tell the story sometimes as much as any single play in a game.
Yeah, they really can't. I mean, they can't allow him to beat them to so many of those offensive rebounds. That'll kill you.
Rondo drives in. The Celtics need to get a shot off. Zellinger. Here's Okoye. And, there's a whistle. He was going up for a layup, and while it looked like there was some contact, I wasn't sure they were going to call it a foul shot or not, but sure enough they have. So we've got a couple of free throws coming up. That free throw good from Okoye.
Well, the and one turns this into a two-possession game. Costly foul on that play.
Collison against Rondo. Left side Collison. Jordan. And out of bounds as the Celtics gain possession. Here's Rondo, and so they choose to intentionally foul. And he misses the first one. Boy, he wanted that one to fall. That's good. Going 1 of 2 from the line, and that puts them up by 5. A little over a minute and a half gone now here in overtime.
And they've got to score quickly.
Yeah, no time to waste at all.
Here's Collison. It's stolen by Rondo, and that's an intentional foul. First free throw is good, and that increases their lead to 6. And the second free throw, no good. A tough break there. Collison with it. Launches a three. Jared Sullinger pulls it in, and so they foul intentionally. Good on the first, and that makes it a 7-point lead. Some changes for Boston. And so both free throws are good. It's an 8-point game. And the Clippers call time here. They're losing by 8. 7 seconds left in the first overtime. Action has been terrific. Guys, what do you think?
Well, they can game plan all they want, but there's not enough time left for them to come back and win this game.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what they think they're going to pull off here.
Overtime in full swing here. 2 minutes off the clock. Kept alive. Here's Flory. Off on that one. And so it's the Boston Celtics with the W. An impressive victory in overtime after an exciting end in regulation.
You know what? In a long game, fatigue can sometimes affect every aspect of play. They didn't look tired at all to me.
And that about wraps it up with Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA presented by 2K Sports. And now, Jordan presents our player of the game, Egon Okoye.
Sports, and we've got basketball. I'm Damon Bruce. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It's the Minnesota Timberwolves going up against the Toronto Raptors. And without any further ado, let's head to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew at the arena. I'll be back at halftime.
This is the NBA on 2K Sports. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan, joined by Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr, with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Now a chance to check out tonight's starting lineups. First for the Timberwolves. And at the pivot, a bruising and physical 6'11", 290-pound center. A battering ram in Pekovic. And it's Turk Yilmaz in at the 4 spot. And looking at the Raptors, then there's Rudy Gay, and it's Higgins at the power forward.
The Raptors have been in the rebuilding process for a while now, and even though they still didn't crack the postseason, they were able to do something they haven't done in several years: win more than they lose here in Toronto.
And it might seem like such a small accomplishment, but going back to what you said, Clark, about the Raptors, but they are a young team, and it takes small steps like that to climb up the standings. Steve, you know this year to year.
Yeah, no question. I mean, unless you have a once-in-a-lifetime or at least once-in-a-generation type player in the draft, you have to do it with smaller steps, and that's what the Raptors are trying to do.
Slams it home for the putback.
Was there any doubt what he was going to do with that putback? Flush it down.
Oh, that's some energy we just witnessed right there.
And that's the kind of energy you need on the offensive glass. That's the only way to get it done.
Now here's Shumpert. Chandler outside. Back to Shumpert. Lets the 3 fly. And Brooks comes up with the rebound.
You know, one of the big things that Iman Shumpert brings to the team is his pressure defensively on the perimeter. When you have a guard like him who can go out and bother ball handlers, they can really take an opponent out of its offense.
It's got to be nice for them to know that game in and game out, his offense is going to be there for him.
Shumpert off the bit from Turk Yilmaz. Passes it to Bernard. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. And there's the basket. Whistle blows and a chance for a 3-point play. Going to the line for 1. And Shumpert had that ACL tear in the 2012 playoffs, but after missing the first month and a half, Clark, I thought he bounced back pretty well.
I'd say he did. I mean, there was some concern. His game is really predicated on his athleticism at this point, but he looked pretty good. Not a great outside shooter, but he cut his turnovers down and showed he could still elevate for some spectacular finishes, and was not bad shooting the ball from the 3-point line.
Now here's Marion. Brooks, the pass to Marion. He dishes it to Gay. Just 5 on the clock. Here's Jeffries. Whoops, there's the 24-second shot clock violation, so they'll turn it over. .130 left in the first quarter.
Guys, we know it was a struggle last season for the Timberwolves, but against the Eastern Conference, they were pretty competitive. Nearly had a .500 record against teams from the East.
Kicks it to Chandler. Pass to Turk Yilmaz. Defended by Higgins. Turk Yilmaz passes to Pekovic. Just 2 to shoot. Great D that time from Jeffries. Well, back to the Timberwolves, that's a marked improvement over how they've done, Steve, over the past few seasons.
Yeah, the last few years, that's easily the best winning percentage the Wolves have had against the Eastern Conference. And they won't want to take much from last season to this one, but maybe that's something at least they can carry over and try to build on.
clock management, this is where, Steve, they can get a 2-for-1.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. As long as the first one's a good one, and now you play D, get the ball back, one more shot. And that's a tough one there because he's wide open. That's a shot he expects to make.
And Brooks, here we go. Marion kicks to Gay. The pass to Higgins. Kicks it out to Gay. No good on the triple. Timberwolves trailed by 3. Chandler down low. He's covered by Gay. Bernard. Another miss by Minnesota. Here's Marion. 1 quarter in the books, and it's been a close one so far. Raptors lead by 3. And don't go away. We'll be back with the action for the start of the second quarter in just a moment. And off we go. A close game now starting the second quarter. And from what we've seen so far from the Raptors, guys, your thoughts?
And I thought they built this lead mainly because of their work on the glass. They really dominated the rebounding total.
And it takes an effort from all 5 guys to get a rebounding advantage like that. Everybody has to rebound the ball. That's how you finish off your defense.
Timberwolves trailed by 3.
Well, no team likes to have their first-round pick belong to another team. It gets worse when you're a lottery team yourself and you're trying to build your talent base up. But the Raptors' number 12 pick in this summer's draft went to one of the elite teams in Oklahoma City.
Just 5 to shoot. Here's Tucker. And he goes in for the dunk.
Well, something special about him, guys, is just how good he is at winning the so-called second shot game, going hard to the offensive glass, salvaging points with his putbacks.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't also mention his supreme shot blocking. And he doesn't do it softly. He comes up with emphatic denials.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Hey, Kevin, at 6'11", 290 pounds, Nikola Pekovic may be the most physically imposing player in the game. Rick Adelman said, quote, he's such a force inside. Guys just want out of there. They don't want to go against him. Pekovic said, the goal is to go inside and win the game, whatever it takes. Many people don't like when you play physical. Some respond, some don't. Kevin?
And he does. Thank you, Doris.
Well, he's a player who knows his game. I mean, he's a physical enforcer type guy. He makes no apologies for it.
Now here's Granger. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Well, Clark, as you said, the Thunder got the Raptors' first selection this last year. Only the way the Raptors would have been able to hang on to it was, Steve, if they jumped up to the top 3 in the lottery.
And as bad as it might seem for the Raptors to have not had a first, I mean, and it is bad, it was as good as any other time for them to not have a first-round pick because the draft wasn't deep, and the Raptors have a lot of young talent already, and that they can make improvement with.
Ties it up, and this next one could give them the lead.
Well, Minnesota won 31 games last season, but only 11 of those came on the road. For a team that was battered and bruised heading out on a lengthy road trip is often a recipe for a losing streak, and that was the case for them last year. The injuries just really bogged them down.
Now the free throw is good, now leading by 1. Well, picking up again on the Timberwolves, road travel can be especially tough on them just given the geography where their home city is in relation, Steve, to the rest of the NBA.
Well, particularly in relation to the rest of the West, because, you know, there the Timberwolves are up north and kind of in the middle of the country. So they have a lot of long trips. But, look, there are no excuses in the NBA. I mean, everybody's got their own adversity they've got to deal with.
That's tipped. On the wing, Shumpert. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. Tucker dishes to Shumpert. Hands it from downtown. Shumpert's got himself on the board with 3 there.
How about that for a response?
They will say they can give the 3 as well as they can take the 3.
Johnson with it. Now guarded by Tucker. Johnson kicks it to Tucker. Back to Johnson. Here's Harmon. Rebounded by the Timberwolves. About 3 seconds between shot and game clock. Here's Tucker. 12 seconds left in the first half of basketball. Out of bounds, Timberwolves ball as Minnesota keeps possession. The Timberwolves making a switch here. Four on the clock. Here's Bernard. And there's the shot clock violation. Couldn't get the shot off in time. Puts up a prayer. The shot is off. And a tight game here as we end the first half. Timberwolves ahead, leading by a point. Keep it here for the Sprint Halftime Show with Damon Bruce. We'll see you after the break for the start of the second half.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
This is 2K Sports, and I'm Damon Bruce, coming to you live on a Friday night. It's a tight game for the Timberwolves, squaring off against the Toronto Raptors. They're giving them the business defensively. Easy buckets? Not in this game. Looking at Toronto, they're definitely making plays as well. It's been a hard-fought game, but they've risen to the challenge, really showing what they're made of. Rudy Gay is their top scorer. No big numbers by his name in the box score, but he's doing the little things out there to try and get his team the win. And that'll be all for now. Thanks so much for joining us. The third quarter just about to get underway.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game.
You know, it appeared to be another season where the Raptors would be near the bottom of the league, but while the terms rock bottom and embarrassing floated around, they made some moves and were able to go on a run to climb towards the middle of the pack.
Minnesota in the lead. He kicks to Bekovic. Second chance effort. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2. The Timberwolves shooting their 4th and 5th attempts at the free throw line tonight. And he can't get the first one. Well, we all know the trade for Rudy Gay, the major move coming last season for the Raptors. They were able to get a look at the playoff scenario at times. And, you know, Steve, it looked like they were much more competitive down the stretch.
Yeah, this is a team that has struggled the last few years, but I think that spark near the end of the regular season gives them hope. And now it's time to start that climb, get back into the playoffs, and continue to build and become an excellent NBA franchise, because they have the potential to do so.
Now here's Gay, and that one's good. Gay's got his second bucket tonight.
Easy little jump shot for him right there, guys.
So it's Minnesota now. Bekovic with a screen on Brooks. On the wing, Shumpert. He passes to Bernard, expanding his range. Here's Bekovic. And the bucket counts, and he's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a three-point play.
He was the first one to react to that miss. Excellent anticipation on his part. A hustle play on the putback by him.
Well, you talk about strength and physicality at the center position. Pekovic is right there with anybody. And he's got an imposing game. Reminds me a little bit of Marc Gasol in that regard. He can use that strength to power you down low, but he's also got some skill as well.
You know, that's an interesting comparison. I love how he always battles, Steve. A terrific offensive rebounder, gets a lot of stickbacks, very tenacious. Gets it to go. Brooks has got his first 2 points of the night. The Timberwolves have gone 1 of 3 since starting the second half.
Tell you what, it was a big move for Aaron Brooks last year because he was let go from the Kings near the end of February, but was able to work things out and make a return to Houston, the city where he found success early in his career.
So the Timberwolves called their first timeout, and Brooks played in China during the condensed season in 2011, 2012. Aaron kind of got stuck over there for a while, it seemed.
Well, he took a chance, like a few players did, by going over, playing in China, and not being able to get out of his contract until very late in the NBA season. But he's always been a productive player, very quick, kind of an instant offense type guy off the bench.
And here in the second half of play, we're just over a minute in. Shumpert passes to Bernard. There's the dish to Chandler. Chandler right side. There's Turk Yilmaz. The shot no good. Excellent D from Higgins. Toronto trailer. There's Gay. No good off the front iron.
I thought he'd make that one. And that's his range, and the defense nowhere to be seen.
Feeds it to Shumpert. Shumpert off the pick from Turk Yilmaz. Chandler kicks to Shumpert. Back to Chandler. Three-pointer. Gets it to go. Chandler's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. So timeout called here. The first for Toronto.
You know, Raptors coach Dwayne Casey is a defensive-minded coach, and he's helped the Raptors improve from a team that was the worst defense in the league prior to his arrival.
Sheets checked in for Nikola Pekovic. Here's Granger, looking for his first basket still in this one. Brooks gets the screen from Higgins. Brooks dishes to Granger. That drops and it comes off an assist from Brooks. And Coach Casey had the Raptors in the middle of the pack defensively his first season. Steve, they slipped back just a little bit as the season wound down.
Well, remember, they made a big personnel change, trading for Rudy Gay. That can kind of change things a little bit for a team. But all in all, I think Dwayne Casey has done a nice job. And this year is really about kind of establishing a foundation for the future and getting better defensively, being more consistent at that end.
And it's good. A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the third quarter. Now here's Marion. Brooks outside. And the Raptors hit again from deep. Outside jumper. 3 seconds left. No good on the layup. It's all tied in Toronto. And time to step aside quickly, but we'll be back in no time with the start of the fourth quarter. We welcome you back to what's been a hard-fought battle. Fourth quarter should be good. And for the Raptors, they're shooting at a decent 44% clip here. Marion gets the screen from Jeffries. Marion passes to Higgins to take the lead. Rebound, Minnesota. Shumpert's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Passes it to Bernard. Back to Shumpert. On the wing, Chandler. And it's off from 3-point range. And the Raptors with the ball. Gay kicks to Marion. And he's good on the 3-ball. Marion's got the first basket as we get going in the 4th for the Raptors. Back to Pekovic. Left side, Chandler. The putback, and Pekovic throws it down.
Showing us a little force on that putback, Kev.
Well, there was no way he was going to let that chance slip away.
No, sir.
Now, you got to love his positioning as the shot went up. He anticipated that play.
Now here's Marion. Pass to Higgins. Dishes to Brooks. Shot clock at 6. Brooks can't get that one to fall.
Boy, just by his body language, Kevin, you can tell he thought that triple was going to fall.
Yeah, a little frustrated now, shaking his head after that miss.
Here's Shumpert. There's 1:26 left in the 4th quarter. No good on the shot, a bit long that time. Toronto's gone 1 of 3 from outside the arc since we've reached the 4th quarter. 3-pointer, Brooks. That is good. And the Raptors lead by 4.
And another 3-pointer to their second half total.
Yeah, they caught that long-range bug at halftime, and it's been bombs away ever since.
And the Timberwolves call time here. They're trailing by 4. 1:14 left in the 4th quarter. And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Yes, Kevin. Well, Rick Adelman had some advice for his team over that last break. He laid out the X's and O's and told them, we're still alive, guys. We've just got to work together, trust each other, and play our backsides off. Kevin, we'll see if they've got enough in the tank to get over the top.
.114 left in the 4th quarter of this one. Stolen by Brooks. Here's Gay, and he throws it down hard with one hand.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
And guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
Here's Bernard. Connects. And now they trail by just 4. Toronto's gone 6 of 14 with the 3-ball tonight. Just a little over 40%. Gay gets a screen from Higgins. Here is Jeffries. Covered by Pekovic. Brooks misses. The Timberwolves have gone 2 for 5 on field goal attempts in the 4th quarter. And Chandler, here we go. Gay against Shumpert. Pass to Pekovic. Clock at 6. From the baseline. Rebound Brooks. When they foul intentionally, they're going to have to do that now again and again. They're not in the penalty yet.
Smart foul there. You've got to try to extend the game.
Yeah, it's still close, but they're fighting that clock as much as the score right now.
Toronto's gone 2 of 5 on 3-point shots since the end of the 3rd quarter. And now we've got the intentional foul.
2 shots.
He drops the first one, and that puts them up by 5. So he gets them both, and it's a 6-point ball game.
And it just feels like those are the free throws that probably put this game out of reach.
And the Timberwolves call time. They're behind by 6. There's 14 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
I think they have to go for a 3 right now, don't you, Clark?
Yeah, I don't think they have any choice but to go for the 3, Steve.
Minnesota with the ball. They trail by 6. Chandler, no good. And now they decide to foul intentionally.
Shooting for Toronto. Marion. At the line number 2.
You got this, baby, yeah!
Good on the first, and that makes it a 7-point lead. Big group substitution now for Minnesota. Second one is good. Getting both at the line, and it's an 8-point game. And we're about 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. Tucker dishes to Chandler. Fires the 3. No good. And so it's Toronto winning this one. They pulled off this win, Clark, with respectable performances on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I think it was just really a nice overall effort, Kevin.
Now it's time to say so long. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan, along with our 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our